everyone, I'm back. That's the bugging the crap out of me today. A little change in the channel. I'm gonna try talking about mythology, like I said last time. I guess I should pick a myth to talk about or something like that. So the one I'm gonna pick is a Celtic myth called the Tain, which I'm probably mispronouncing wrong, but sorry. The Tain is one of the books I had to read when I was trying to get my degree in Celtic studies. And it always kind of annoyed the crap out of me. One, because let me explain. Okay. The Tain is a story about a bull. Yeah, a bull. Apparently this bull was very sought after by many people in Ireland. Yeah, the story takes place in Ireland. And so, it was between a king and a queen. I guess if I remember right, the king had the bull, but the queen wanted the bull to sire all her cows, because this bull was prime bull stock. We're talking you could have gotten some good steaks out of this bull if you chose to go that way. If not, let him have all the heifers he wanted, I guess. Anyway, a deal was set up that the queen, who was on her second husband at this point, made a deal that there'd be the king that owned the bull, and they made a deal and all this stuff. But I guess her men who were there to oversee the deal got a little drunk and a little bragging and said, "We're just gonna take the bull, and there's nothing the king can do about it." Wrong thing to say, because this started a war. Yes, a war over a bull, mind you. And so it was that they went to war over this bull. The queen was very mad because all these things were being said about her, and all basically just everything you could think of calling a lady, a woman at the time, and today, every rotten thing you can call them. Even though she was behaving just like any man in her role would behave. Like I said, she was on her second husband, because her first husband, she kind of like, I need to upgrade. And her first husband wasn't too happy about that. Second husband wasn't too mad about being the upgrade, but he didn't like it that he didn't have control over the kingdom, because it was her kingdom. She had the right to rule it. So anyway, the war was going on and all this and everything, and Celtic gods are not really involved except for Morgana, if I remember that right. She had a crush on one of the soldiers, and it was I can't remember the guy's name, but he was blessed by the gods and all this stuff. So he was a prime warrior. You're talking like almost Hercules prime, just with an Irish brogue and all that crap. So anyway, he rejected her, and she's like, "Oh, fine, you know what? I'm not going to help you anymore. I was helping you in the battle before. Not anymore. Nope." And you don't really want to tick off the Morgana, because she's kind of controlling death. This lady, you really don't want her mad at you. And he got her mad, so yeah, he died in battle. But the more this goes on, I know I should have at least done a little quick search before I started talking about this, but we're going by my memory, so bear with me. So anyway, battle goes on. The queen, through all this, she's actually gaining some ground, but they had to take a break in the whole battle because she could not join in the battle because she was having her period. I thought that was pretty interesting. They had to stop the whole battle because the queen was having her period. Now, this was talked about by guys, because anyone will tell you, unless we are completely dying of cramps, we'll fight. That's probably the best time you want us fighting. But anyway, yeah. So, and it wasn't a normal period either. I guess it lasted about 6 months, if I remember right. I'm like, you need to see a doctor. Yeah, go see the doctor. But anyway, go on, everything. More battles. And the guy who, turned down the Morgana, he died in battle, if I remember right. And uh, there was no real winning because at this time the bull is dead. Dead. No more bull. They're fighting over nothing now. Anyway, there was a victory, if you want to call it that, where the king, who was mad because his bull was going to be stolen, won, and the queen was dethroned. Her second husband was put on the throne. She was basically said, "Hell, you screwed up. All this because you're a woman. You don't know anything about battle." And so it was that she was given to her back to her first husband, who was very happy to have her back, and because he could treat her any way he wanted to, because she was considered soiled goods or some crap like that, some idiotic thing. And so all was right within the land because a woman wasn't ruling Ireland anymore. And I'm just like, yeah. Like I said, I'm going on memory, and this is what got me really annoyed when I was reading this, because it was part of my required reading. I had to read it. Is that if a guy had been in that queen's role, he'd been, he's a figure and everything, woohoo, yeah, he's a great leader and all this. We'll die for him. But it's a woman, so therefore, no, there's no victory in this. And I realized, yeah, this has been translated I don't know how many times, and most of the people who did the translating were the stewards of the church, which is the Catholic Church, because they took over Ireland a good chunk of the time, because that was the in religion at the time. And and at that time they were viewing women as, because of the whole Adam and Eve thing, so women are evil. The guy was kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Whole other thing we could talk about probably. So because she was a woman of power in the Tain, she was considered an evil person. But if, like I said, if the roles were reversed, we'd be celebrating her. And this got me thinking, because I wish I had done this back when I was trying to get my degree. Is that, okay, we have her, but then we have Queen Boudica, who basically did the same thing. She was opposing the Romans. And she actually had them quaking in the togas, She was not taking any of this disrespect they showed her, all the violence they showed her people. She wasn't taking that. She fought back. And we view her, when you look at that part of the history, we view her as a great ruler, great leader, and all this stuff. But I just remember the queen's name, Queen Maeve. Probably mispronouncing it, but yeah. So yeah, we look at Queen Maeve of the Tain, and we view her as being completely villainous. So it's really interesting how we can view that queen as being villainous, but we can view Queen Boudica as being a great leader, because she opposed the Romans because they were so evil, and a lot of the Roman rulers were not great. Um, we base this. This is what we base our whole European Western culture on, as the Romans and the Greeks, and I'll go on a little tangent on that later. But anyway, yeah, because women were not viewed as being equals within that culture. No other women in the cultures they were taking over could be viewed as being equals. So you're either considered a saint or a villain. There's no in between. Whereas men and all the stories and all the myths can be in between, So, so that's what got me kind of ticked off when I was reading the Tain, is that she's no different than any other ruler in history that I've learned of. It's just because she was a woman, so therefore she was villainized, and so that kind of got me a little annoyed on that one. And I'm sorry that I really screwed up the story. I'll do better next time, I swear. So yeah, so that's one story that kind of made me see how it's been, a lot of the stories have been switched to glorify the values of who the ruling or conquering people were. So yeah, that's why I think we need to relook at mythology a lot of times and trying to look at the stories from another angle. And it's kind of hard to do with some of the more well-known stories because everyone's dead set on like, this is how the story is told, this is how it's always been told. I'm like, yeah, but that was told by, it's been retold by those who are in power. Let's try to look at the view from those who were conquered and see how they might have viewed it. So that's what I try to do with the Tain. It's like, okay, because it was fought in between Ireland, so you have to look at what was supposedly fighting back then in Ireland for power, and you're looking at the Upper and Lower Ulsters, if I get this right. It's been a long time since I talked about this stuff. So yeah, you had the Upper Ulsters who thought they were better than the Lower Ulsters. So if you again look at Ireland's history, that's been going on for years. And so yeah, it's just a reflection of the turmoil of always being of Ireland itself. Especially when you have other people coming in trying to force their views and culture on you while telling you to forget everything you knew about your culture. So yeah, that tends to make people a little irritated. So, and in that, I think Queen Maeve became more of the view of she is the old school, so therefore she's wrong and evil and everything else, and the new school is the one that conquers everything, and everyone forgot it was all about a bull. The bull died. It died of natural causes in between all this fighting. Like, the bull was just like, leave me in the field, I'll munch, I'll graze, I got a few female cows, I got a few ladies on the side, I'm pretty good here. But yeah, so that's one of the stories I kind of like to look at and try to see where it kind of differed from what it might have been told back then. So yeah. I think this is probably where I'm going to leave it because I think next time I will do a little bit better. I'll get a story that I actually can remember a little bit better than this and see how it's changed a little bit, at least how I see how it's changed and everything. So yeah. Other than that, I hope everyone's doing good. I know it's all been crazy. I hope everyone's doing good emotionally, mentally. Stay good. If you can, get out. If not, maybe you can sit outside on the steps or something like that. Just get some sunshine. So I'll see you guys again, and who knows what I'll pick to talk about next time. But anyway, thanks again.